Good evening, and welcome to Armageddon Live, Series 2, Episode 23, Daniel 2 and 7, Parallels, Part 1, on this 11th of May, 2020. I'm your host, Daniel Decrypted. So, let's jump into it. So you'll recall, what was it called? A Weapon for Our Time? I believe that's what it was called. You'll recall that Daniel 2 through 7, theme-wise, has this structure. Chiasm. You recall that theme-wise, Daniel 2 and 7 parallel one another through prophecy. Right? Might they parallel one another in other ways? That is, besides theme? Let's check it out. So, here's Daniel 2 and 7. We note that Daniel 2 has 4 metals. Daniel 7 has 4 beasts. According to the interpretation given by Daniel in both cases, well, Daniel and the angel, both of these actually represent 4 kingdoms. Notice, of course, that the first kingdom, we can call it the royal kingdom, where gold is the metal of kings, lion is the king of beasts, and eagle is the king of birds. Notice also the connection between, for the fourth kingdom, for Daniel 2 we have iron, that's the metal, but the nondescript beast in Daniel 7 has iron teeth. Thus the fourth kingdom is the iron kingdom. Furthermore, Daniel 7 gives us this information. It says that these are kings from the earth, or earthly kingdoms. So these are all, yeah, as I said, they're all earthly kingdoms, right? As opposed to, say, like a heavenly kingdom or God's kingdom. Alright, so I believe that's everything there. Alright. So next, it's interesting that in both Daniel 2 and Daniel 7, something different happens in the fourth kingdom. While in Daniel 2 we had metals, and in Daniel 7 we had beasts, now in the fourth kingdom we get introduced to something different. A non-metal for Daniel 2, and human for Daniel 7. Thus we have, in each of the visions, we now have contrasting elements are introduced in the fourth kingdom, and that contrast continues into the fifth kingdom. Yes, of course, the fourth kingdom has 2 phases. It has a united phase and then a divided phase. And the contrasting element is introduced into the divided phase. Yeah, so, as I said, Daniel 2 has metals. And then in the fourth and fifth kingdom, we get non-metals. So we have clay, and then metal, mountain, and stone. And in Daniel 7, we have the human eyes of a man and a mouth speaking. And then we have the Ancient of Days and Son of Man. That's in the fifth kingdom. Alright, what other things are paralleling here that say that these are the same vision? Well, in Daniel 2, it doesn't say it explicitly, but we know, typically our feet have 10 toes. And the horns, there are 10 horns on the nondescript beast. Now, what else can we say? Well, you'll recall that when we looked at the 4 beasts and the 4 metals, we said that they were earthly kingdoms. Well, we know that the 5th kingdom is God's kingdom, so we get a contrast there. 4 earthly kingdoms, and then we have a heavenly, or God's kingdom. And so that we can, and you'll notice, of course, that the God's kingdom only consists of non-metals, human. Thus we can say the following. Oh, I'm in the way. Metals and beasts represent state, that is the earthly kingdom, while non-metals and human represent church, or a heavenly kingdom. But how can we be sure? How can we be sure that the clay and the eyes of a man and a mouth speaking really represent church? Are they really a heavenly aspect as opposed to an earthly? Well, we'll have to see that later, because that's it for now. So, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. I hope you learned something new. I hope it enticed you to study Daniel and Revelation, or prophecy, a little more. And I hope to see you once again. I know it's been a little while, like 4 days since I last posted something. And that wasn't my intention. My intention was to be here every day, but one of those days the internet just wasn't working, and then anyway. I do hope you'll check back, and I hope once again that this is a blessing that is opening your eyes to understanding prophecy more, and to seeing that there is perhaps a little more there than we might think there is there. Anyway, the next I hope will be even more surprising, because we'll dig down even a little more. So bye for now, and until tomorrow, God bless.